The Emergence of Judaism among the Bnei Menashe, a chronological journey, early Christian influence, and cultural displacement. With the arrival of Christian missionaries in the early 20th century, nearly all hill tribes in Manipur and Mizoram, including the Chin, Kuki, Mizo, and Zomi communities, converted to Christianity. This shift led to the abandonment of tribal laws, ancestral customs, and traditional religious practices. Tribal priests lost their roles, and the younger generation became disconnected from indigenous beliefs. Christian teachings emphasized the New Testament, often minimizing the Old Testament. As a result, native cultural identity weakened, and tribal traditions were reframed through Western Christian interpretations. Initial spiritual awakening 1951 to 1959. In 1951, Chulianthaanga Chala, a leader in the United Pentecostal Church in Mizoram, had a vision claiming the Mizo people were descendants of the Israelites. This vision catalyzed a spiritual revival across the region. Prophetic dreams affirming Israelite ancestry began to emerge among Christian congregations. Among those inspired was David Sayama Mar, who in 1953 had a vision of a boulder inscribed with Rock of Israel falling from the sky towards Manipur. Sayama fully embraced Judaism, becoming one of its earliest adherents in Mizoram. Chala died in 1959 before the movement formalized. Access to Bible and Grassroots Revival 1959 to 1969. In 1959, the Old Testament was translated into the Mizo language. In 1964, a Kuki Fado version was published. These translations enabled people to study the Bible in their native tongues for the first time, and many began to marvel at the similarity in their custom and tradition found in the Bible. This period saw the rise of hybrid groups blending Christian and Jewish practices, such as Church of God, Messianic movements, and so on. While these early efforts reflected a renewed interest in Jewish identity, they remained theologically Christian and lacked Halakhic foundation. Emergence of leadership and organized scholarship 1969 to 1974. In 1962, T. Daniel Lungdem traveled to Calcutta and Bombay, visiting national libraries to deepen his research on Menashe tradition and its similarities with ancient Jewish tradition. In 1968, due to growing tensions over his research on the lost tribe theory and advocacy for the sabbatical movement, he was forced to leave his home. He found refuge with his relative, Chief David Jamkosem Lungdem of Gelmul village. Chief Zamkosem greatly supported and funded the research work of T. Daniel. In 1972, the Manipur Israel Family Association was founded, later renamed the Manipur Jews Organization MJO. In the year 1973, Daniel Lungdem again visited Calcutta and Bombay, where he met Esther Imanol, who took deep interest in Menashe tribe. He also met Rabbi Ephraim Eliezri, chief rabbi of Orthodox Indian Jewish congregation. Upon his return, he brought three messages. Judaism is the religion of the Jewish people. All male must be circumcised, and Jews do not recognize Jesus as the Messiah. In 1974, the three messages Daniel came with brought internal divisions on MJO. Thus, the United Jews of Northeast India, Utsnei, was formed. The Utsnei leaders included Kup Jangam Langal as the president, T. Daniel Lungdem as the general secretary, Some Samuel Haukip as the joint secretary, Israel Ginjamung Swatik as religious and cultural secretary, Yosef Yankathan Langal as the advisor. In 1974, T. Daniel Lungdem, Yankathang Joseph Langal, and Samthung Samuel Haukip formed a study circle in Churachandpur. Their collaboration led to the 1974 publication of Israeli Hiyuvi, We Are Israel, which asserted the Israelite origin of the Chinkuki Mizo people. The book, printed in Thado Kuki, sold out its first edition quickly, a public challenge offering 1,000 to anyone who could disprove its claims went unmet. Milestones of 1975 to 1976, breakthrough in Halakhic Judaism. In 1975, the first Purim celebration was held in New Pangsang village. By the late 1975 to early 1976, Bnei Menashe youth including Bina, Benjamin, and Dina were sent to study at ORT in Bombay. In February 1976, Daniel Lungdim was sent to Bombay again by Bnei. It was his last visit on his research project, and he returned to Manipur on Intermediate Festival Pesach with printed Sefer Torah, Tefillin, Tzitzith, and Jewish Halakhic book. In April 21st and 22nd, 1976, which is the final days of Passover, the community celebrated the arrival of a Torah scroll, symbolizing a new beginning. The event coincided with 21st Nisan 5736, traditionally linked to the parting of the Sea of Reeds, symbolically marking the Bnei Menashe's spiritual exodus. The day is marked as the rebirth of Judaism among the Bnei Menashe. Institutional development and formal education post-Passover 1976. Following the pivotal Passover of 1976, children's classes in Judaism began and included early students like Miriam Samra, Simon Geen Vafe, Jessica Kongsai, Asa Haukip, Asher Zamkomang Lungdim, and Jonathan Zamkolo Lungdim. Lessons were conducted in English and Thado by T. Daniel and covered key Jewish practices, including prayer, blessings, festivals, kashrut, and Hebrew. The newly elected Bnei leaders were V. L. Binyamin Vafe as the president, T. Daniel Lungdim as the general secretary and cantor, Avraham Shapu Lungdim as finance secretary, Shemuel Sumdung Heokip as information secretary, Yosef Yankathang Langel as the advisor. Legacy and significance of 1976 Passover. The 1976 Passover celebration stands as the Bnei Menashe's symbolic crossing from spiritual obscurity into halakhically grounded Judaism. The Sefer Torah's arrival marked a definitive moment in their return to ancestral roots. From tribal memories and visions to the formation of institutions, global partnerships, and ritual observance, the Bnei Menashe's story is one of revival and exodus of their own, written not only in dreams but also in action. In 1978, Daniel Lungdim was unable to fulfill his role as spiritual leader due to financial difficulties. Consequently, he entrusted the Sefer Torah and Bnei logo to synagogue chairman Moshe Isaac, Kazan Gideon Ray, and esteemed members Jeremiah Lungdim and Jonathan Tuthang. In 1979, Rabbi Avikale heard about the Menashe tribe of northeast India. As a result, he sent letter to them, requesting to send youngsters to learn Judaism in Israel. In 1981, Bnei Menashe community selected Gideon Ray Vankuma and Simon Geen Vafe to study in Judaism in Israel with the request of Rabbi Avikale. Concluding word of thanksgiving. We give heartfelt thanks to the Almighty, who has guided the Bnei Menashe through generations of silence, exile, and searching, and who in his mercy rekindled the flame of identity and faith in the hills of northeast India. From visions and dreams to Torah and Halakha, from tribal memory to sacred covenant, the journey has been nothing short of a miracle. We honor the pioneers who walked this path with courage, the leaders who bore the burden of revival, and the communities who held fast to their calling. May this story be a testimony to the enduring promise between Israel and her scattered children, and may the light of return continue to shine for all who seek the truth of their heritage.